Ciao a tutti, benvenuti a Rumor Armonio, la rassegna musicale prodotta e organizzata da Teatro Linguaggi Creativi di Milano. Oggi è il primo appuntamento del 2024 e siamo molto contenti di ospitare una realtà molto particolare che dal mio punto di vista non assomiglia niente a nessuno. Loro sono i Mohammad, vengono da Atene, Grecia, e let me introduce Nikos and Ilios. Welcome. It's really a pleasure to host you here in Milano.
Thanks for having us.
Since the very beginning of your new album, let me know the pronunciation correct.
Sidirun Parapetasma.
Sidirun Parapetasma came out in the spring of 2023. Mm-hmm. I really loved it, and I said we have to do everything in order to convince these guys to be here in Milano and to organize a live set here in our stage. So it's the dream come true. So for me, it's very exciting to host you here in Milano. Let me introduce our small talk, saying that many words have been spent to focus and identify your project and your music. Dark, ambient, chamber doom. Of course, you have some archaic sounds, neoclassical, but also electronic patterns. So it's modern and antique. So very interesting. Everything is true. Every word is true. But at the end, my idea is that you are far from everything. So there is nothing like you. And so my first question is, what is your creative process? How do you arrive to your patterns, to your music? What is the origin of your sounds, and what are the inspirations also of your music, if exist?
Origins. Okay, we can talk about origins, but we don't have destination for sure. That's why, as you said, it can be many. You can title the music with many different names. Even our name has changed in the course of the time. Like with Mohammad, MMD, then we changed it with a Greek letter. So we don't even have a steady root. Origins. Of course, this comes from the background of the two of us. Even when we started as a trio. The background of our solo projects in terms of sound, which ranges from classical music to very experimental and physical sound, let's say. At the same time, when we got together, we thought, let's work on a structure. So every step we make every year, every new release is more structured than the previous one and with more elements. So I would say that the origin probably is linked to our roots, not Greece only.
Okay.
It could be the thing that we have as memories, the music that we grew up with, and so on. And then we take it to a different level, but we always take baby steps in how we create our music. We started with very simple sounds, very simple structures, and for us, every record we make a joke that this is a pop record, because we think it's like now everybody will be listening to this kind of music. Of course, nobody's listening to this kind of music, but we try to evolve on a very slow pace, let's say.
But it's true that in the back of our minds, maybe sometimes we try to play pop music.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I mean as a thought, at least, incorporates little fragments of what pop music sounds to us.
Okay.
So that's the experiment also.
It's crazy because, of course, if you listen your music,
that's why we perceive it,
Okay. Yeah. Yes. It's a starting point, maybe.
Yes.
Then, of course, you arrive to different things, of course, but maybe in the roots there is something that is linked with the pop musicals.
Yes, I mean in the general sense.
Understood.
Maybe
not
pop.
Necessarily the charts.
No. Of course.
It could be that.
Pop. It means pop. It means popular.
Exactly.
So
yes.
it's different things, of course.
Yeah.
A bit more accessible, possibly, or a bit linked to some memories, and more structured, maybe also because, as I said before, we started with very vague structures in composition from a composition point of view, and now we are getting actually maybe this is the pop component. So we are having structures with even with rhythmic elements that we didn't have in the past. So more and more we are creating something more. I wouldn't say accessible, but yeah, it can have some elements of pop.
Understood.
There are some tracks that you can call songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the last few albums.
Yeah.
Understood. And you started this adventure with Mohammad in 2010, correct?
Mm-hmm.
2009, 2010,
Yes.
and originally as a trio, as you told before, since 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go on with as a duo.
Mm-hmm.
How many things have been changed in this year in your creative process, in your music feeling, in your idea of music, if it happened, from the very beginning of this creature to the actual reality of Mohammad?
I would say the creative process is more or less the same.
Okay.
Because we take minimal steps in the research, from album to album. We really exhaust, the space that is there.
Okay.
So in principle, it's the same. Hopefully, it sounds different as we evolve, through time. But yeah, for me, it's the same kind of road towards somewhere.
I mean, the evolution has to do with our instrumentation.
Okay.
Yes,
It's
also.
very, very basic instrumentation. So now we are the basic instrumentation is just cello and sine waves.
Okay.
That's it.
Ah, okay.
But then we built on top of that. So if you are using very simple instrumentation, then our process has also gone towards a path where we have to exhaust, let's say, the limits. What can we do together, let's say, with only this spectrum of frequencies? Because we just have, two elements that can go that far in terms of frequencies and have to blend together as well. So this is also kind of not an obstacle, but this is conditioning also our...
It's a limitation that works creatively.
Exactly, yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And another important step of your adventure happens in 2018 when a director, Austrian Germanic director, asked you to create the score for this folk horror, Agazusa. And I would like to know what is represent in your, of course, career, and if it's just a single event, or you are thinking about the possibility to work in this direction. And okay, that's all for the moment.
Well, it has been very important for us because it didn't start as very important. Actually,
Okay.
Lucas, when he made this film, it was the film of the school project of the film school of Berlin. So it's not like a big production. So, and he was listening to Mohammad for a few months, and he was creating the movie in his mind, listening to our music. That's how he came to us.
Okay.
So it was just like there was no pretensions or expectations from this film. And actually, it became a big, let's say, hit, if we can call it, in the folk horror genre, if there is such a genre.
And also that the inn is sold out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for us, it was a very good opportunity to work with him because actually we were totally free. We did what exactly we wanted. There was no restriction. There was no cuts or second edits or something. So we did exactly what we wanted. And it was also a test for us because we have been doing also music for movies and films on a different projects, let's say.
Okay.
So it was just the start of something that we would like to explore more. Actually, we just finished last year a new soundtrack for a Cypriot filmmaker which is now playing some festivals. So yeah,
Excellent.
it's something that we want to, to keep on doing it.
And the approach to create music is the same, or it has been different in the creation of this soundtrack?
Well, it's never the same when there's a director and he has a vision. So you have to sort of get in his mind about what is the sound. But of course, when someone asks us to do music for a movie, they probably know, what our sound is more or less. So I mean, they wouldn't expect us to write a waltz or something. It would be the MMMD, the Mohammad sound.
Yes.
But still, it's a two-way street when you work for the movies. You have to take into account the director's vision.
Okay.
Usually for film or for theater or for dance, usually if you get a request for sound, people have something in their mind already, and they maybe were listening to some tracks and they want this thing. So it's sometimes difficult to get away from that. With Lucas was easy because we were free, but at the same time we were kind of in a mood of the things that he was listening to from our, let's say, previous works. With the last film, actually, we went the other way around because we also had total freedom.
Yes.
And it's it's not out now, but it's totally, mostly electronic sounds,
Okay.
The soundtrack. So it's a totally different affair. So going back to the Mohammad sound, we also try to expand our, let's say, spectrum. It's not like we don't want to be confined as the guys that made this horror movie soundtrack. And from now on, we only make music for horror movies, folk horror movies. So we want to, we're doing different stuff as well.
Comedies from now on.
Oh, yes.
Only.
Of course. And you spoke before about ballet and dance. So my next question regards what is your relationship with the other arts, like contemporary art, ballet, theater? We are in a theater, and I think that your music is perfect because you can stay in a place, in a stage in which people go out, in, drink. But I think that for this type of music, for this type of sound, you need to be inside that sound and go down without any noises, any interference, etc., etc. And I think that your sound is also perfect to represent, for example, the score of a ballet or a contemporary art exhibition, etc., etc. So I would like to know if you have any relationship with these words of art, and you did in the past. You have future projects.
We have both,
you are linked with Ethan World of Art, etc., etc.
We have both separately worked for the theater and dance companies.
Oh, okay.
Before.
But also as Mohammad.
But
because
as Mohammad also.
Before Mohammad, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And still now,
But also we have worked for the theater as Mohammad and dance actually.
Okay.
We have done music for two productions of ancient Greek tragedy.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah. So one was at the theater of Epidavros.
Okay.
And then the other one was like a Cypriot production in Cyprus. So yes, we have done that. Is something that interests us.
But you have produced these sounds directly during the exhibition, or is something that you created in advance?
No, it was recorded.
Composed,
okay.
yeah.
It was
Okay,
recorded.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
if you're
That's
saying
interesting actually, but it hasn't happened yet
Okay.
to play live on a theater. That would be interesting, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And another question is regards your country, because you have, of course, a big tradition of traditional music, but in this very moment, we speak about rock or experimental music or pop. I don't know what exactly is the situation in Greece. Does it exist a scene? Because no information arrives. This, from my point of view, maybe it's something that I don't know, but in reality, I don't know, frankly speaking, what is the situation in Greece in terms of music?
Well, you know, in these days that everything is branded, Greece is more branded as a touristic country.
Yes, of course.
So it lacks a brand about more contemporary music and not just the folk stuff, which is great, you know. But I don't know. Of course, there is a scene. We are not very involved. We're a bit introvert people back home. But of course, there is a scene. There's a and we know a lot of people that are involved. The problem is, how do you get it outside as an information?
Yeah,
That's not.
that's the point.
It should be easy by now, you know, with the internet and all that. But I don't think it's happening,
Okay.
and I don't know why.
Okay, that's that's another problem because of course.
I think three of us are kind of old
Well,
right
it's
now,
the age,
and
it's
we're
the
talking
age,
about things
thing,
that we could be talking like 10 years ago. There's no scene, I think, anywhere. If you ask me if there is any Italian artist, I cannot name
don't know.
one or two or three.
Oh, okay.
So probably I think it's. I mean, there used to be an industry, music industry, and we all used to get the same information before. Now I think it's contemporary music or whatever you call it. I think there is lots of things everywhere. In Athens is for sure. Actually, before, because we were organizing some concerts ourselves or a festival or two festivals, and back in the day there was no events for this kind of music.
Okay.
And now every day, I mean during the week, there is like 2 or 3 things, sometimes simultaneously. So there is lots of things, and I think this happens in Greece, in Italy, everywhere right now. But I don't think there are scenes anymore because the audience, there's no audience for this kind of music or that kind of music. They consume everything, which is fantastic. But it's probably we grew up. Sorry to involve you in the age thing.
I'm 50. I'm 50.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're with us. So exactly, I think that's a concept of we try to think. Experimental music. There should be some guys in Greece or Italy. There are more now, but before you would know better because it would be people would just be more devoted to a scene.
Yeah,
now
that's the thing.
Now there's no
There
devotion.
are, but I don't know where to find them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe a possibility could be to work through recording labels, and we arrive to the last questions. I mean that maybe you can have the chance to meet different talents, different music artists, if they work for the same label you work with, for example. That's an option. I don't know. And I arrived to the final question. We know that you manage the Antifrost label recording since 1997.
Yep.
So it's 26 years that it exists. What does it mean to manage a recording label in 2024? And what is your idea of music label and of music, of course, if you want to share with us?
Again, I think the world around us evolved at a certain pace where you cannot. It doesn't make sense to keep on being stuck, let's say, in a certain, let's say, frame of genre or sound. And gradually, it was like a more slow pace when and it has to do also with our personal movement. For example, when we met back, because we know each other from like many years ago, but we were not living in all of us in Athens. So when we moved together and we started Mohammad, then Mohammad actually took over the whole label, which is good because we want to release our stuff and we don't want to depend on other people, but at the same time it didn't leave so much space from energy point of view to release other stuff. So if you ask about plans, the plan would be to start being more extrovert with the label and release more stuff. But again, the times now have changed a lot. I think they change every 3-4 years.
Yeah.
In terms, are you still going to release physical formats, or what about the digital world, how it goes? and so on.
Now there's the return of the vinyl. So in the very last moment, I think that something changed.
Maybe we are at the end of the return of the vinyl, because I think now there's so much overload of vinyl, and now we see the curve going down again in terms of not sales for us, because we were never like selling so much, but I think there's so much now going on with vinyl. So I don't know if it, like 10 years ago it was like, wow, yeah, vinyl, and everybody was buying your vinyl. Now it's like difficult to move again, and I see with labels that we were working before that they have turned to digital. And also I can say, again, probably I'm talking a lot about, different ages. My son, for example, will never listen to a record, like as we were doing at his age, like straight 20 minutes or 40 minutes or something.
Yeah.
They just skip one track to the other very fast.
Of course.
So it's either somebody that has some kind of romantic or fetishist, point of view. Wow, I will get an object, rather than having the patience to listen to something.
Yes, that's the point.
The same way you cannot read a book as you would reading a book before. Just like go fast But music, I think it's even worse. You just skip track to next track, and that's it. Actually, the albums don't exist in their vocabulary anymore. Just like one track.
How old is he?
He's 20.
Oh, okay, so he's
yeah.
Okay.
And he's into music, actually.
Of course.
So, I trust his, how he sees things, because he's into music. So, I know that he could not listen to our work, not because he doesn't like it, because he has grown up with that as well. So he likes it, but. Sure. Like 40 minutes listening to this, no, that's too much. After 3 minutes, it would be some new track. So, yeah.
Thanks a lot for this call. Let me just ask the very last question. The origin of this cover, which is crazy for me. It's hypnotic. I don't know where it comes from.
This comes, actually, it was an exhibition in Cordoba, in Spain.
Okay.
And it had some, how it's called, all the parades for Easter.
Okay.
What's the name? I don't know the name. When you have this parade in Easter and you get the La Madonna and so on, in the streets and whatever. So they have also this kind of statues and other things. So I found like this looks like a Roman soldier, I guess.
Yes, correct.
And I was like, wow, I'm amazed, and I took a few photos. So we said, okay, this is for sure for a record.
It represents perfectly the sound of Mohammad from my point of view.
Okay, yeah, that's nice to hear.
I don't know why, because it's strange. It's I don't know. It's something hypnotic. When I saw this image, I say, but it doesn't exist anyway. Any cover like this one. That's the point.
For sure, it has nothing to do with the title, but anyway, okay, that's another story.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot. That's all.
Grazie.
It's time for sound check.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Nikos and Dias.
Thank you.
E a questo punto, sound check.